Welcome back to the Crime Chronicles. I'm your host, Christian J, and today we revisit a crime that scarred America's soul, the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. This was not just an attack on a building, it was an attack on hope, on children, on the very heartbeat of the civil rights movement. This is the story of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. Now, you may ask yourself these three questions right here. Why this story matters today? Now, I can answer that real quickly. I can answer why this story matters today. The bombing wasn't just history, it was terrorism against Black America. And terrorism doesn't always wear a foreign face, sometimes it's home ground, fueled by hate and armed with weapons and aimed at silencing progress. We see every single day, we see people try to diminish Black people, try to diminish everything that we are working towards. We see that every single day. With the Black Lives Matter movement, we saw people knocking against it. We saw people saying, "Oh no, y'all are doing this, y'all are doing that. Oh, y'all are looting, y'all are rioting." And we see that in the media too. First of all, the media does not even put the camera on the peaceful side of the protests. They always show the rioting. They always show the looting. And there might just be some people, but there are other parts of the protest that is peaceful. But the media doesn't show that. The media loves to get people going. The media loves to get people riled up. And you have other people out there say, "Oh, I don't know why they're doing the Black Lives Matter movement. All lives matter." We know that. We know that all lives matter. We know that. We know that. But are all lives getting killed in the streets? Or are Black lives getting killed in the streets? Name one person out of your All Lives Matter movement. Name one person that got a knee on their neck. Name one person that had their death filmed on camera. Name one person who got shot in their home. Name one person who got shot in their home by police just barging in there without a warrant. Name one person who got shot and killed in their home because they were just cooking something. They had a pot of boiling water on. They called the police. They thought the police was going to protect them. They thought the police was on their side. But you had this the police officer to shoot Sonya Massey. You had the police to shoot Sonya Massey because he said he feared for his life. Really? You feared for your life because she had a pot of boiling water? And how far are you away from her? Really? Save me the bull. Save me that. So when you sit there and say, "Oh, all lives matter," we know that. We know that. But you are sitting here saying all lives matter to diminish the Black Lives Matter movement. And you can sit there and say you don't, but we know you do. We know you sit there and say that to diminish the Black Lives Matter movement because you think Black lives don't matter. That's what you think. Yeah. And then the other question you would probably ask was would be like, well, why did they do it in a church? Okay, the church is supposed to be a sanctuary. Anybody who knows black people, you know that we do church. Like when I tell you black people do church, we do church. Hallelujah. Like we do church. Like y'all do church, but we do church. The difference, y'all do church, but we do church. Okay? Hello, somebody. So what? Why? Why would they attack? Why would they just go into certain parts of the city and attack when they could just go there and attack the church? Because the church was an easy target because black people were there. Black people were. We were getting our praise on. We. That's what we do. And this episode, it's it's one that this topic it's always one that kind of always gets me like a little emotional because first and foremost, I I know this story. I know the history about this. We like this was like a staple in our curriculum or in our class back in when I was in middle school. We saw the movie The Watsons Go to Birmingham. We read the book about the fifth little girl that was there. We and I tell you this story has been with me for years and years and years. It's it's an emotional one. So if you aren't prepared to listen to this, then I will understand. But I think you should listen to this. Listen to this episode because it's going to be a very informative. It's going to be a very powerful episode. It was Sunday, September 15th, 1963. The 16th Street Baptist Church stood tall in Birmingham, Alabama, a city nicknamed Birmingham because of frequent attacks on black homes and institutions. That morning was Youth Day. Children were excited, preparing to lead the service. Four little girls, Addie Mae Collins, Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley, gathered in the basement bathroom, fixing their hair, adjusting their dress, ready to usher in worship. Yeah. Four innocent little girls. Four innocent little girls. Just preparing for church. Getting ready. It's youth day. If many of if y'all don't know, certain churches, I don't know if all churches, I'm not going to say all churches, but some churches, they designate a Sunday that would be like youth day, where all the children in church lead the service. Like they do the prayer, they do praise and worship, or if it's different, some y'all might call it devotion. They do that. They do the offering. They do the scripture. They do all of that except for the sermon. But it's youth day, and just think about those four little girls. They getting ready to lead the service. Probably do like a little march in. If you probably do like a little march in, they got to get their hair right, got to get the dress right, got to get everything right because it's youth day. They're so excited. Their parents are in the congregation. The parents gonna see their children. They're gonna be so excited. They're gonna see them with, yeah, that's my baby. Woohoo! Yeah, not knowing what was coming next. At 10:22 a.m., the church was ripped apart. A bomb planted by members of the Ku Klux Klan exploded beneath the steps. A blast collapsed walls, shattered stained glass, and left chaos in its wake. 4 little girls were killed instantly. 4 little girls were killed instantly. Another child, Sarah Collins, survived but was badly injured. Dozens more were wounded. The congregation, stunned, bleeding, terrified, scrambled to find loved ones. Outside, the streets filled with smoke, sirens, and grief. Remember, I said that we read that I had read the book about the fifth little girl who survived, Sarah Collins. We read how she had to deal with the fallout, her injuries, everything that she endured after years after. It, it's a powerful book by her. It is a very powerful book. That that book, I remember, it talked about her. I can't remember all, but I remember she said that sometimes she used to drink all the time. She would have gin with orange juice, and it was just like I said, it was just a powerful book. Yes, her name was Sarah Collins Nice Rudolph. Sarah Collins Rudolph. She is Anime Collins' sister. That's who. That's her sister, Anime Collins. So yeah, she she was permanently blind in one eye. And you kind of figure out why I'm like taking pauses and everything. Uh, I'm trying to get the courage to continue with this episode. I'm trying to do that because it's to think about everything that the parents they had to go through, burying their children. Sarah had to go through losing her sister, and then people don't even they didn't even the Ku Klux Klan they didn't feel no remorse. And first of all, what was the point? That's all. That's my question. I always ask, like, what was the point of you doing that? First of all, what is the point of you targeting black people? What have black people done to you? No one can give a definite answer on what black people have done to them to make them so racist. And then you want to sit there and say that that you always thought of us as dogs and pets and everything, but you treat your pet better than a human. So why do you treat black people like dogs when you treat dogs like humans? Your priorities are in the wrong. Hello, somebody. Please. Like there's nothing you can say that will make me understand why they did what they did. There's nothing in the world that you could say that will make me understand why they hate black people so much. The bombing sent shockwaves across the nation. Civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called it one of the most vicious and tragic crimes ever perpetrated against humanity. But justice was slow. For years, the perpetrators, white supremacists, Robert Campbellis, I don't care if I say their name wrong. I don't. I really don't. Thomas Blanton, Bobby Frank Cherry, and Herman Cash walked free, shielded by segregationalist officials. It took decades before convictions were finally secured. Campbellis was convicted in 1977. Blanton and Cherry weren't convicted until the early 2000s. And Herman Cash died before even facing trial, before ever facing trial. Oh yeah, yeah, mother. Ooh. And that's stuff like that still goes on to this day. Stuff like that still goes on to this day. The fact, the fact that justice wasn't even secured right then and there is ridiculous. It took decades for them to be convicted. Robert was convicted in 1977. Thomas and Bobby were convicted in the early 2000s. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Woohoo. Yeah, we got a conviction out of them. Oh, yeah, they're locked up. They're convicted late. Too little, too late. It's just like that to this day. It is just like that to this day. Remember I said Sonya Massey? Yeah. Sonya was a 36-year-old black woman who was fatally shot by former Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson on July 6th of 2024 after she called 911 to report a possible intruder at her home. Grayson was found guilty of second-degree murder on October 29th, 2025. A year later, really? After a trial where he claimed self-defense, stated he feared Sonya Massey would throw a pot of boiling water on him. And then the thing about that, the thing about that is body camera body camera footage was a key part of the prosecution's case. It showed Massey telling him, "Don't hurt me," and repeating, "Please God." And you said you feared for your life, but body cam footage kept showing that she said, "Don't hurt me." It kept showing it. She said, "Don't hurt me," and you decide to kill her. You decide to kill her because you say, and I quote, "I fear for my life." Okay, well, here's a thought. Why didn't you use your taser? Hmm? If you fear for your life, why didn't you use your taser? Because I guarantee you, Your taser probably would have been a little bit quicker to obtain. I feel like your taser probably would have been a little quicker to obtain. But no, you used your gun. You used your gun. You wasn't fearing for your life. You wasn't. Because if you actually feared for your life, if you actually feared for your life, the body cam footage would be showing something way different. The body camera footage would be showing something way different. Just like Breonna Taylor. She was 26. She was 26. She was killed on March 13th of 2020. Not only do I remember that date, not only do I remember March 13th, was because we had got out of school because of COVID, but she died on March 13th. She was shot and killed on March 13th as the police officers from Louisville Metro Police Department forced entry into her home. Yeah. Then the former police officer, Brett, was sentenced to 33 months in prison in July of 2025 for using excessive force during the 2020 raid in which she was killed. He was found guilty in November 2024 of violating Taylor's civil rights, but was acquitted of state charges in 2022. And his shots did not hit Taylor. Oh, wow. Your shots didn't hit her. Okay. All right. Yeah, please. Your shots did not hit her. Oh, yeah, you could go tell that to somebody else. And then the other thing I mentioned about George Floyd, a knee on his neck. But let others tell it he had fentanyl in his system. He had fentanyl in his system. Okay, I guess you just want to stay dumb. I guess you want to stay dumb because there's no reason and there's no way you could sit there and justify Derek Chauvin putting his knee on George Floyd's neck by saying, "Oh, but he had fentanyl in his system." Bitch, please. Uh-huh. George Floyd was an African American man who was murdered by a white police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, during an arrest made after a store clerk suspected Floyd had used a counterfeit dollar bill, $20 bill. On May of 2025, Derek Chauvin, one of four police officers who arrived to the scene, knelt on Floyd's neck and back for over 9 minutes. Over 9 minutes. Fatally asphyxiating him. After his murder, series of protests against police brutality, especially towards black people, quickly spread globally and across the United States. His dying words, "I can't breathe," became a rallying slogan. Yeah. On June 25th of 2021, Chauvin was convicted. He was sentenced. He was convicted on April 20th of 2021. On June 25th, 2021, he was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. The other three officers at the scene were also convicted later. Yeah, but this has been going on for a long time. And and not even with the police, Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. That shocked the nation. I remember I watched the news that day. I remember I watched the news, and when they was going to announce the verdict, when they announced that not guilty verdict, I felt every black parent's pain because I have a black mother. I have a black parent. I can only imagine how his parents felt not getting justice for Trayvon Martin, not getting justice for him, having the man to walk free, to sit there and have him walk free because, mind you, all Trayvon had was a pack of Skittles. All he was doing was walking back to his house, all because he had a hood up. But now, but now, anytime a person sees a black person, anytime a person sees a black person, they automatically assume that they're suspicious or they're a problem. They automatically assume black people are a problem. And for people to continue with this cycle of racism to this day is ridiculous. For years, you had parents telling their children, especially their sons, not to put their hood on their head if they're walking. I don't care if you're cold, don't put your hood on. Because, because that's how terrified parents were of losing their children. And then you have some of you ignorant, dumbass folks. You see something on social media, next thing you know, you go in the comments somebody, but they wouldn't resist. But really, if you're being falsely accused of something, you would be defending yourself, saying, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it." But no, when it's a black person and they keep saying, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it." Oh, now they need to stop resisting. They need to stop resisting. You need to shut up. That's what you need to do. You need to shut up because there is no reason for you to sit up and get on Facebook because that's where most of the racists live, on Facebook. And then it just doesn't even stop at the police and all the people on Facebook, Twitter too. I remember. I remember we okay, let me take Beyonce for an example. Let me take her and Blue Ivy for an example. This was last year in November. And I remember who was it? Yeah, I remember Billboard was announcing the top greatest pop stars of the 21st century. And it got down to those last 3 days, those last three, first, second, and third. So it was going to be down to B, Taylor, and Rihanna. So Rihanna came out to be number three. I was like, okay, that's good because the Rihanna ain't put out an album since 2016, and she up there in the number three spot. Go ahead, girl. Okay, then it was down to Beyonce and Taylor. So everyone was wondering, okay, who gonna take that top spot? I already had a feeling like it was gonna be Beyonce anyway because hello, Beyonce is one of the greatest living performers of all time. Like there's no one like her living. Hello. And so when it was announced that Taylor was number 2. I remember I saw that on, I was in the store. I think I was Christmas shopping or I was doing something in the store. And I remember I looked at Twitter and I saw that Taylor had got number 2 and Beyonce was number 1. I was like, well, okay. Next thing I know, here come the Swifties. Here come them spewing their racism, spewing it down, posting pictures, saying this, saying that. And remember I said that about George Floyd, how Derek Chauvin knelt his knee on his neck. Oh, you want to know why that will be relevant to this part of the story? It's because Swifties decided to cut out Taylor's face, put her face on Derek Chauvin's body, and then cut out Beyonce's face and put on George Floyd's body. And if you don't believe me, I still have the screenshots because I don't delete because I want a Swiftie to sit there and try me because I know they'll say, "Oh, we didn't do that. We didn't do that." Yes, you did. That's where the whole thing hashtag Swiftie racism came to be on Twitter. That's the reason why hashtag Swiftie racism was trending on Twitter. But then they tried to come back around and say Beehive racism. It didn't really go anywhere because there was a set up account anyway on who was saying stuff. But yes. This was from last year November. I'm looking at it now. They was talking about Jay-Z, saying, "Jay-Z, you stupid, ugly nigger. When I catch you, I'm gonna beat your ass." It was really derogatory. Then this person said, "Deport B nigger to Africa because of fuck." Because Taylor got named the number 2 greatest pop star of the 21st century. Did you actually think Miss Girl could be number 1? Did you actually think she could be number 1? Oh, then they talked about Nicki Minaj too. Yeah, they talked about Miss Girl too. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like the language, okay, we get it. I understand. But this needs to be said. There was even racist towards Kamala. Yeah, it's all around racism. Just calling Beyonce a monkey, calling Blue Ivy a monkey. Then there was a girl. Somebody posted a girl about they said she was pretty and dark skinned. He go one of the Swifties saying is pretty in the room with us. Really? Oh yeah. But y'all are supposed to be girls. Y'all are supposed to be this, that, and the third. Y'all attack black women, but as soon as a person says something about y'all favorite, then now all of a sudden now everyone is being so mean to Taylor. Like I don't understand why everyone always be is so mean to Taylor. She doesn't do anything to anyone. She is very unproblematic. She minds her business. She doesn't do anything to anybody. But everyone always hates on Taylor. Really? Then when somebody said Beyonce and Blue Ivy was gonna star in Mufasa the Lion King, another Swiftie said they both look like monkeys. Yeah, I'm reading off the screenshots. So anybody don't, they can't say, "Oh, he just made that up." No, baby, I did not make this up. You can sit there and stream, go on Twitter and type of hashtag "Swifted Racism." It's still up. All of that is still up. Oh, here's the good part. I found the one I really want to see. This person, a Swiftie, said, "I used to protest BLM. They don't deserve it. To be honest, they go all brave attacking Taylor when she never did wrong to this black community. Hashtag Black Lives Don't Matter." Yeah. And you can always tell when people, you always tell when they're racist because they have a certain type of look. Hmm. And it's the way a person, I went to their profile, they talk about proud Christian, but yeah, still though, their pin post says, "I must be the way you niggas be blowing me. But you a proud Christian though, and the mother of four." Ooh, you're a proud Christian and you're spewing hate like that. That goes against the Bible, doesn't it, honey? That goes against the Bible. That goes against everything God has put in the Bible. God has worked for us. That goes against everything. Okay, then. Yeah. So when next time a Swifty say something, be like, "Oh, we never did this." Yes, you did. Don't lie. Stop lying. Yeah. And you might be like, what does this have to do with the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing? Well, they were racist. The Ku Klux Klan planted a bomb at the church, a predominantly black church, because they hated black people so much. You might ask did why does the Swifty racism pertain to this? It's because they these people go out of their way to spew racism and hate towards black people who haven't done anything to them. They will go out of their way to hate on a black person just for breathing. Yeah. The bombing became a catalyst for change. The horror of four innocent girls murdered in a sacred space got support, gained support for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Their names, Addie Mae, Denise, Carol, and Cynthia, are etched into history. They were children, but their lives became symbols of resilience, sacrifice, and the fight for justice. This was not just a crime, it was an act of terror meant to silence a movement, but instead, it strengthened it. As we remember the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, let's honor the lives lost and recognize the courage of those who carried the struggle forward. I'm I've been your host, Christian J, and this has been the Crime Chronicles. Stay tuned for more.